We're going to go over the Snellen chart, which is what we use to assess visual acuity. It's important when you first have the client 20 feet away from the Snellen chart, and that's what we're assessing at. When you are in the school environment, for example, most of the tiles that are used are 12 inches long, so you can use that and count out 20 feet. You have the client cover one eye at a time and assess each eye individually. It's important that you have something to point with rather than your finger because it's very easy to occlude the letters. You just start at the top and have the client identify each letter. Continue working your way down until you get to the point where the client is no longer able to read a full line. For example, if I have a client that is able to read clearly without straining or leaning forward at 20/20 and misses one letter, I would record that as 20/20 minus 1. And so what that tells us is that the client is able to read the 20/20 line with the exception of one letter. So we do that for each eye individually. It is only important to record each eye individually on the report card if there is more than one line differentiating between the two. Other than that, we assess both eyes together, and that's what we record. So I'm going to bring Matteo in, and we are going to show you an example of an assessment. Welcome, Matteo. So Matteo, I'm going to have you hold the eye patch, and I'm going to have you cover one eye. Okay? So you take that and cover one eye, and I would like you to stand right here. This is my 20-foot marker. So Matteo, I'm going to point to the letters, and I want you to tell me which. I want you to read the letters for me.
E, F, P, D, O, L, P, E, D, P, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, P, F, E, L, O, P, D, D, B, F, P, O, T, E, C.
Perfect, Matteo. Now I'm going to ask you to switch eyes.
E, F, P, T, O, L, P, E, D, P, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, P, F, E, L, O, P, D, D, E, F, P, O, T, E, C.
Pretty small, eh? Okay, Matteo. Now, take a couple of blinks, give your eye a break. We're going to test both eyes together. Okay? Whenever you're ready.
E, F, P, T, O, C, L, P, E, D, P, E, C, F, D, E, D, F, C, Z, P, F, E, O, L, O, P, Z, D, D, E, F, P, O, T, E, C, L, E, R, O, D, P, C, T.
Good job, Matteo. It's important that we know anything over greater than 20/40, we would recommend that the child have further testing. And we would follow that up with a note home to mom and dad. It's also important to note that we're watching the facial expressions of the children. We're making sure we're looking for any squinting or hesitation. You want to allow them enough time on each letter to identify and give the response, but don't linger there too long. Also, you don't want to really suggest whether they have gotten the right or the wrong answer. So as you're continuing through, when we tested Mateo, we established that his right eye was 20/25, his left eye was 20/20 -1, and together he was able to read 20/15. So we would record 20/15 home to mom and dad. It is not uncommon for one eye to be a line less or more than what they are together, and that's quite common. So as I mentioned before, we would only distinguish between the left and the right eye if there was greater than one line's difference between the two.